Oh, I'm on. Hi guys, end of the night. As promised, a little demo cooking time for some of the stuff you can find in that lovely old time produce box that we are helping to spread a little bit of fresh love out there. If you haven't seen it, we did an unboxing this morning. It's probably still on our Facebook feed. Lots of good stuff for you to use. A few odd things. So I have put together a little PDF of some different recipes for some things. We're going to demo some quick items as well. And hopefully you'll be able to use this stuff up and take a good advantage of it. Anyway, real easy. First thing, everybody in their box is getting some sort of citrus. Oranges, blood oranges. If you haven't had one of these, they're pretty yummy. They tend to be really nice and dark. Sometimes they're not. These are actually really nice. Good time, old time. Tastes just like an orange. Just like an orange, it just has a dark color. What we want to do for this recipe, and this is going to be just a really easy orange glaze. Take a vegetable peeler, and let's just get some nice peels. Don't try and go too far into that white that's called the pith. That tends to be really bitter. We don't really want that. Just do maybe 2 or 3 strips. If you have one of those cute little zester things you got from what's the stupid
QVC.
QVC, does that even exist?
I don't know.
No,
this is like our own
at-home chef thingy. Whatever it is. Anyway, are you zooming in? You gotta zoom in.
I can't zoom in.
Can't zoom in. Anyway,
but I can come in.
We just want a nice little zest on that. You can see even the color of that. Stack it up or do one at a time. Just get nice, fine, really nice, fine little zest. That's all we want. Just something like that. All right. We're just going to pop that in. Try not to get too many pieces. This is going to cook down. A lot of people eat oranges, the whole thing, rind, everything. A lot of vitamin C, a lot of the essential oil is all in actually that the skin. So what we want to do is just take that, then we're going to juice 2 of our oranges. Again, remember these are the blood oranges. Pop that up out of the way. Make sure there's no seeds. Nobody wants a seed. We're just going to do a couple juices. You should get roughly right about a half cup of juice. A couple ounces per quarter cup per orange. Thereabouts. It's not, you don't have to be super hard on this. If you have one of those cute little zester or juicer things, go ahead and use that as well. Or, just do it by hand. Let the kids do it. Let them get messy. I'm going to clean as I go. My staff would be so happy with me. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is come over to there, to the oven. Nobody critiqued the oven. We worked all day and haven't really cleaned anything yet. So, what we want to do is add our zest and our juice. We have a little bit of soy sauce. We use Bragg's Aminos. It's a non-wheat, no sugar added. A little bit of honey or agave. This is agave.
Oh, it smells good.
Well, yeah, it smells good. So we have the sweet from the orange juice itself. We have the salt from the soy. Obviously a little bit more sweet because this is a glaze with that agave. And then once this comes up to a real quick, starts bubbling nice, we want to add a little bit of oil. Any oil you want. Try not to go crazy. Like, don't get any really hardcore like olive oil or anything that's really strong. Just a nice neutral oil. Because we do want a little fat. If you're feeling adventuresome, sub out some butter. Just make it a little bit different flavor. But that is all that is, and that's going to set to the side for just a minute as you pull on our other skillet. So everybody, in addition to oranges, and probably the hardest thing is this giant bag of shredded cabbage. What the do you do with this? What we're going to do is a quick roasted slaw. So to start that, and you have recipes, we're going to do a little bit of garlic. Got our pot or our saute pan on. If you don't have fresh garlic or you have the chopped stuff, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. We just want about a teaspoon. Little t's on a recipe are teaspoons. What we're wanting to do is crush through the cell walls, and that releases the essential oil that's in the garlic and makes it yummy. Again, a little bit of oil, garlic. You can hear it simmering. That's good. You don't want to burn it, right? So you come over, you can already see how it's starting to turn white. You should smell it by now. Let it go. You don't want to burn it. So easiest way to reduce your heat is to take it off if it's getting too hot. You can already see we're getting some color, right? So get that back on. What we're going to do now is add about 6 cups of this slaw mix. Cabbage is actually really kind of sweet. Oh, hi folks. And it's really tasty. So the next thing we want to do also is here, I need the black pepper and salt. Uh-oh. We're not really set up to do this, but we're doing it anyway.
I think we're rock stars right now.
A little bit of salt. You know, that's the taste. Always the taste. You can always add more salt. So don't go crazy with it first. A little black pepper. Notice I haven't moved this, I haven't done anything to it. We want to get a nice little caramelization or some roast on the bottom there. And I'm going to need to go over there and grab
Okay,
some vinegar.
and somebody's asking, yes, we do still have produce boxes left.
Oh yeah, lots of produce boxes, and I believe there's going to be some more available. You just stay focused on there. We don't want to show the rest of the kitchen. Terrifying. I just forgot an ingredient. I wasn't set up. What can I say?
Okay, it's just me. Selfie time.
All right. Back at it. Okay. So here's a funny thing. You may or may not know, may or may not care. We use almost exclusively cider vinegar here at the shop. But the funny thing is, if you go to a grocery store, try and find just apple cider vinegar. That doesn't have, that's not just white vinegar with either like caramel color added to it. It's amazing how hard it is just to get whole real products. This is why, you know, I'll shout out to somebody like Old Time. We partner with them because they kind of are really committed to just whole food ingredients. You know, yeah, we have stuff like this cabbage slaw that is, you know, pre-cut, but it's still somehow further done in the kitchen wherever you are. Come on over.
If we've got some people asking what the suggested donation is, can you say what it would, the value in that box?
So the biggest thing is, and don't look, don't sneak it. You get 5 pounds of these really cute, fancy sculpted carrots that you see at a lot of these high-end restaurants. Guess what? They don't do this shit themselves. They buy them. These run about $7 a pound. So if we were to buy one of those trays, it's like $35 our cost. Obviously, they're still carrots, and at this point in time, no one really needs fancy carrots for their kids. Although there is a recipe using these and turning them into sweet pickles.
And Lacey,
pretty tasty.
And Lacey just posted the PDFs with those recipes in these comments.
Hey, if there's typos, give me a break. I was doing that in cooking. Come back over real fast. We'll get back to that though. Probably about $40 worth of produce. Don't get this. So you can see how, and yes, I'm using my fingers. You see how we're starting to get that caramelization there? You don't have to flip, use a spoon or whatever. But there we go. That's our roast. We want to make sure we're getting a roast on this. And you also see the steam coming off. So it's cooking with its natural steam. And we're getting some caramelization. I'm not sick. So we're letting that do its thing for the minute. We're going to return it. We're going to let that do its thing. We're going to get another pot on. So if you have a rotisserie chicken, if you have grilled chicken breast, if you have roasted chicken, shrimp, a fish, salmon, tofu, if you're into the vegan thing, you could do any of these. Pork. If you have pork chops, you could do this with pork chops.
I feel like I want to tell you to take a deep breath. You're talking so fast. Breathe.
I don't know why they changed their logo. Cheers. Okay. So we're going to pretend this is our diced chicken, roasted and diced, that we use at the shop. Pretend that, like I said, that this is maybe some chicken legs or chicken wings, shrimp, any protein that you want, or tofu. You could do with anything. A little bit of a pan. Get it hot. Always start with a hot pan, please. Well, not always. For some reason you might not want to start, but generally speaking, get your pan hot. You can tell if it's too hot if you put that oil in and it just starts smoking. Imagine your car going down the road and you have like an oil leak and it smokes and it smells and it kind of almost stinks. You can taste it. That's what you're doing if you're burning your oil in your pan. Don't do that. That whole flame is, yeah, it's just for show. It's really not all that great. But get your pan nice and hot. We're going to put in chicken. It can be cooked. Again, you can hear that little bit of that sizzle. When you put product into a nice pan, you should hear something when it goes in. Again, I'm going to do another flip on this. Toss it, and we are almost done. Still have a lot of good texture. We are not totally cooked down. So while that chicken heats up, last thing for this, a little bit of vinegar. Rice vinegar, whatever vinegar. And that is what gives it that kind of sweet and sour that we're looking for. More of that sour because remember, we're going to be plating this up with this orange glaze. So, here's our pretend chicken. Either when it's in the oven, you can just simply brush or spoon some of this glaze on. You can do it after the fact. You can do it when it's in the saute pan like we are. We're just going to put that right on there. It's going to bubble up. Reduce down even more, and it's going to form a nice little sauce or glaze.
Do I get to eat this?
Wow. You get to eat this. Always about you. Let's get a quick bowl though. Oh, wow, I'm really close. Come back over to the magic kitchen. If you wanted to, you could always throw in some of that purple cabbage and the carrot there just for color, just for fun. And then this isn't going to be super pretty. I would really like a chicken thigh would be really great here with the skin on, nice and crisp and caramely. And then you can put that glaze over the top. It's still going to eat pretty good though. And you know, if it's zombie apocalypse upon us, you know, beggars can't be choosers. If you want to, whatever you might have, there's some broccolini in most of these boxes. A nice little piece of steamed broccolini. Any other vegetable you might have around. Super easy. Kids should pretty much like that because it's sweet and tasty. However, there's no added crap in it. And it took 2 seconds. And,
So your immune is up.
well, lots of vitamin C. You have cabbage, which actually has a fair amount of good stuff in it, even though most people think it's kind of plain and boring. But there's not a whole bunch of junk. A lot of these sauces have fructose corn syrup, lots of additives. We don't really need that. So why put it in if you don't need it? Plus we're able to use this fresh produce in a different way. Okay, on to round two. And this one's really kind of different, so don't freak out. This is a two-parter. Again, a two-parter. Well, not really two-parter. Let's make some room. This is a totally different way.
I feel like we need a interruption break for our sponsor again.
Oh, Old Time Produce?
Yes.
We don't have their little sign anymore. Anyway, thank you very much to Old Time Produce for providing these. They are giving them out to various restaurants throughout the city. Basically as a way of helping support staff in those restaurants and the community as a whole. So please come and grab one. Grab two if you know somebody that needs some. Grab one, break it down, and share with a neighbor. These are really easy to transport and really easy to drop off on somebody's porch. You don't really have to make any contact whatsoever, and just pay it forward. We're using this money and this proceeds to help pay our staff. That's really what we're doing here, period. So we're just trying to make sure that we have payroll to help people out. So it's kind of like a us together thing. Separate?
Yeah, take a breather. You're doing a really good job.
We can't have this go too long.
Well, I'd rather it go long and you breathe than go too fast.
All right. Actually, I want this man. So, excuse me. You can say hi. Turn it around.
Hey, it's me again. How are we all doing?
You
We
again?
would love to, yeah, I did it once before. We would love to know other restaurants that you guys have been touring and supporting. It is not just about us right now. It is about absolutely all of us. We had actually a food truck that came by earlier, put a donation in for one of the boxes. And then once we heard that they had a food truck, we said, take another box. Take another box. You got to support yourself as well. So yeah, it's just Greg and I manning the ship in here. It's kind of like the good old days when we first opened up, except for it is a little bit more fun because we've got more of you coming in, and the generosity has been amazing. We've had customers that have paid abundantly for juices and smoothies, tipped over what it is that their total ticket has been. And that truly is what has been motivating us and inspiring us to keep moving forward. It is a little exhausting and we're taking some deep breaths, but at the same time, when we see so much generosity and so much community to support, it's kind of hard to not just keep showing up. And what else would we be doing if we weren't just showing up? We'd be sitting at home doing nothing anyway. So we'd much rather be showing up for you guys and doing whatever it is that we can do for you. So I'm going to turn it back over. I believe it's time for the show again. Cooking with Greg. Greg.
Chef Boss.
Chef Boss.
Yeah, I mean, we're going old school.
Old school.
All right, this is a take on, I don't know, not really a take on anything. Just using a couple different techniques with this one to do something very different. Our culture, we put ranch dressing on this, and that's how we eat it. Or Caesar. You could use this for a Caesar. Cheese and lots of fatty, rich dressing. A lot of other cultures use lettuce and different greens in savory, more savory applications and warm applications. So what we're going to be doing is using the lettuce actually as if it was like bok choy or napa or spinach or kale. We're actually going to cook with it. So we'll do a quick, easy technique for that. Again, all these boxes have a lot of lettuce. Lettuce is very perishable. As I explained in the unfolding, most of them have a box of the really nice living lettuce. Keep that; it's going to stay for a while. You have some other things that are, the carrot will stay for a while. So kind of you need to be smart and use something like this. Maybe a little bit ahead of the curve. All right, but for this one, it's really simple, simple. If you haven't figured it out, I don't have really complicated recipes per se. I like keeping things pretty straightforward. Pan is on, getting warm. We're going to be doing some shrimp with romaine. Essentially, all we're going to do is sear shrimp. And we're going to then add some cut romaine, hit it with a little bit of lemon juice, and then we're done. So it'll be a very, very light dish. If you're feeling like entertaining during quarantine, you could have this as a first course or maybe...
What kind of wine would you maybe pair this with?
So, I don't drink wine. However, I've done plenty of pairings. Something like this is a little hard because you have a citrus. However, I believe a lot of you have these Meyer lemons, which are a much, much milder lemon. You'll notice that it's not quite as pointed, and it's definitely a little bit more orange, and the skin tends to be a little smoother. These are going to eat in between an orange and a lemon. They're absolutely delicious. I kind of chose this one just because of that. So really for this, I would do an oak shard. You need something that'll stand up to the citrus and will kind of balance it. I like something, yeah, I would like something a little bit buttery. I would do just a basic shard probably. Something that's still light, but oh, see that smoking pan? Too hot. We'll let that cool down a second.
Sorry,
Sorry,
I interrupted you with the
Or
wine.
you can just have a stag and it goes with everything, pretty much. Yeah. Shrimp. And on the recipe it says to make sure that the shrimp are dry. Basically, you don't want to have them defrosted and have them real wet. You want them more or less dry. You don't want to have a whole bunch of stuff on them. So just keep that in mind, please. All right.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because if you have moisture on there, that means you can't caramelize. So you can't caramelize with moisture. You need to actually get that moisture off first, and then you can caramelize or sear. So it's easier if you start off dry. All right, so a little bit of salt, again, and then we're going to do a little bit of black pepper. I'm not doing a full recipe just because we don't have it, or we don't really need to. But lay those in nice. Ooh. Remember that whole don't have that so hot so it's yeah, you don't want to do that. Again, I'm off my heat because it was too hot, but we'll go right back on there. We're going to cook maybe a minute to 2 minutes per side, depending on how big your shrimp are. This amount here is a little over pushing a half pound. For the size shrimp that we use. Again, this could be chicken as well. It could be salmon. It could be a fish. You could do the exact same thing with this, but just using a different protein. You can start seeing that the shrimp are starting to get opaque. They were translucent there in the middle. They start getting opaque. That's where you know you're cooking. Again, let it do its thing. While that's there, we're just going to go ahead and cut our Meyer lemon. Pop out any seeds that I see so that when I squeeze it, if you have one of those little handy lemon things, or if you're really worried about it, squeeze it into a cup or a bowl first. All right. I'll go ahead and turn these over. See how we have that nice sear on there? That's what we want. You might want to do this with the windows open, or make sure your hood's on for sure. Let those go again. All right. So for this romaine, all we are doing is we are cross-cutting, or doing what really loosely would be called a chiffonade, but not really. We're just cutting it into about 1-inch ribbons. Going all the way down, make sure you use the rib. You want to use those ribs because those will hold up really good. And that's our head of romaine. Again, shrimp. Alright, we're good. We are just going to put this.
You're putting the lettuce on the heat?
Oh my God, he's insane. Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
Well, sure you can. You can do whatever you want there. Yeah, we're going to let this steam up. We don't want to overcook this much. We just want to get it warm and let this sink. Most of cooking is knowing when to move things around. You'll see a lot of people that will sit there and move stuff constantly, or they're taking it off. Just let it cook. Let it do its thing. You don't need to. It's all about hurry up and wait. There's a lot of things that you have to do very quickly, but then you have to let the actual equipment do its job too. So it's a little bit of patience, which I'm sure my kids would be laughing at if they heard me say something about patience. All right, so we are wilting this down now. I'm going to add again a little bit of color on that, and we are ready to go. So almost think of this as a warm salad. Normally with this amount of lettuce, we would probably have a little bit more shrimpage, but you know, it's just me and Beck, so we don't really do it. And then your lemon, straight over the top.
Are we going to get to eat this?
I don't eat my own cooking.
I haven't ate today.
What?
I know. No.
Oh, I got seeds in. Oh, not anymore. All right. And that is a very, very light, fresh dish. Technically, it is spring. So hopefully we'll actually get some nice weather. So think of this outside, a little al fresco dining, something totally different. Enjoy it. And that's all I got. It's beer time for me. So thanks for tuning in.
Okay.
Those of you that did.
I am going to
she's
say
back.
thank you. I'm just going to take a moment and say thank you for being a part of everything that it is that we do. 8 years ago when we opened up, it was just him and I in here.
And
Dan.
And the old man.
And he was on dishes. And it's kind of like, in some ways, we feel like we're rewriting the story. Because when we opened up, we had only $300 in the account and we were freaking out. Now, we still don't have any money in the account, but we're not freaking out. And we're not the old. We know our community. We trust what's happening and unfolding. And yes, this, just like every other business out there, was extremely overwhelming those first few days. And then he said it's good, and he's eating his own cooking. It was very overwhelming those first few days. And we became very responsive. How do we react? How do we respond? Then we hit the pause button. And in hitting the pause button, it helped to rejuvenate and refuel us. And that's how we are going to move through this entire process. Some of you are at home doing absolutely nothing. Some of us are still here to serve you. And in doing that, we're going to make sure we're serving you fueled first by us. Meaning, we're going to work this around how it's going to feel for us. Our hours are going to change. We will be open Monday through Friday from 11 till 7 and closed on Saturdays and Sundays. We'll have family meals back on track a little bit tomorrow. And yeah, if you want more of these kind of cooking classes, let us know and we will see how we can accommodate. This really is all of us together. We love you, we appreciate you, and we'll keep moving all of us forward together. Thank you.